Good evening, class. I'm Dr. Angela Ebele Okpala. I'll be taking you today on Module 4, ICT use in the library. But before then, let's just recap what we discussed last week, Tuesday. Last week, Tuesday, we looked at the different library catalogs. We saw the traditional ones. We discussed, for instance, the book catalog, the card catalog, the microform catalog, and we also discussed the OPAC. We looked at advantages and disadvantages of all of these catalogs. And in all of this, we said that the advantages of the outweighs all the others. And so the OPAC, which is the most modern, is the best of all the catalogs. Apart from the catalogs, we also looked at the different types of classification schemes. We looked at the very popular one used by the university libraries, which is the Library of Congress classification scheme. We also looked at another common one, the Dewey Decimal classification, which is used mostly by libraries. We looked at also the Universal Decimal classification, which is based on Dewey Decimal classification. We looked at two other types of classification, the bliss and the colon, which are faceted classification. Today, we are going to be looking at digital libraries. Now, I want us to start by noting the fact that this term digital is interchangeably used with e-library, virtual library, electronic library, library without walls. So when we say digital libraries, most people use it to mean electronic library. They use it to mean virtual library. But although there are little differences, which we are going to be discussing later, but what then is a digital library? Or what is an electronic library? The electronic library is a library where information resources are made available and accessible in electronic formats. And the services of the library are also accessible electronically, frequently over the internet. So that's, in a nutshell, the definition of electronic library, or a definition of digital library. But then there are differences. For we professionals, we know that a virtual library does not exactly mean electronic library or digital library. There are little differences, which I want to bring in. An electronic library consists of electronic materials and services, whereas digital libraries consist of digital services and materials that are stored, processed through digital binary devices and networks. Virtual library consists of both electronic and digital materials. Virtual library consists of both electronic and digital materials. But a digital library does not necessarily have to be virtual. So a digital library actually, like we told you, may not be virtual, but a virtual library must consist of digital contents. Now there is what we call a hybrid library. We have the traditional library, And then we have the electronic library. When you combine these two types of library, that is in one particular library, you have a section for print resources, and you have also the electronic section. That is what we call a hybrid library. This is typical of what we have in National Open University of Nigeria. If you come, for instance, visit any of the centers, study center libraries, especially the one in Wuse 2 here, you will see print materials, and also you will see the E section of the library. So that is a typical example of a hybrid library. Now, why do we need digital libraries? Why do we need to fade out the traditional library or incorporate the digital library? Now, this is to solve, number one, the problem of storage space. The library is always growing. The resources of the library ever growing. After some time, you will discover that the library will begin to have problem of storage, where to store their resources. And therefore, there is a need to go digital to save space. It's particularly in this time where we have information explosion. Information is easily generated. So it becomes very important for us to go digital. Apart from that, we need to save time, and we have to eliminate human error. To save time and to eliminate human error. With what we have on ground, information explosion, it becomes humanly impossible to process all available materials. And even when you try to do that, you will constantly have the problem of human error. And so this is what the electronic library or digital library has helped to solve. Again, one of the advantages, again, of a digital library is that the books can never be on loan. You can always have access to the available resources. Again, you need to go global for global reach and to remove all geographical barriers to information. This is a very welcome advantage. A library can search through, for instance, the OPAC of many world's libraries and utilize number of their online resources through the web. It does not matter where you are. You can be in US and still have access to the catalog of the libraries in Nigeria. Apart from that, with digital libraries, users can simultaneously have access to single electronic copy from different locations. It doesn't matter that you just have a single copy. At the same time, many users can have access to that single copy. So it's an advantage. You can no longer say that because one user is using a particular book, you cannot use it at that time. The digital library also helps to eliminate the problem of loss. Loss through theft is eliminated. The problem of loss through theft is eliminated. And then the problem of mutilation of library resources is also eliminated. Digital libraries, in fact, offer great user satisfaction. That is the reason, these are the reason why you just have to go digital. You may be asking me, what are the resources of digital libraries? If you go back to your course materials, you will discover that we have actually discuss at length what digital library is all about. We looked at the beginning of this course, we looked at the different services of the library. And all of this can equally be online. For example, we looked at lending services. We looked at CAS, current awareness services. We looked at the XDI services, user education, literature search. All of these services can also be carried out electronically. And when we do, it becomes very easy for us, even as professionals, and for the users, it saves their time and saves their energy. So we have already discussed these services at length. So I don't want to go into them again. You can go back to your course materials to look at them. And if you have issues, you can raise questions. Apart from this, we also looked at some forms of electronic resources. I want you to know, why am I saying all this? These are things we have already discussed earlier on. We looked also at the different types of electronic resources. We looked at the different types of databases. For instance, we mentioned Hinari, we mentioned Agora, we mentioned ERIC, LexisNexis, EBSCO, Gestor, and there are many others. Some of them are also there in your course materials. These are electronic resources. These are the resources you find in virtual library, in electronic library, library without walls. These are the resources you are likely to find. Apart from these databases, we went on to discuss the open educational resources. Open educational resources. Because some of these journals online, you may need to subscribe to them. But there are some that are free, which we had already discussed. We looked at the different degrees of access that you may have. We looked at the green access, the gold access, the hybrid access, and so on. So all of these come under digital libraries. These are the open educational resources are also types of resources that are available in an e-library or a digital library. Apart from these journals, we also looked at repositories. Remember that the repositories, we looked at the different types of repositories. We said there could be subject-based repositories and there could be institution-based repositories. We gave examples of them. So all we have been doing all along was to look at resources, services of the electronic library. Then we also looked at the online public access catalog, which is the OPAC. We know the advantages of the OPAC. We listed all of them. We have discussed them. As I said, if you have issues or questions, you can raise them. We looked at the Library of Congress catalog, for instance. So on these notes, we are going to be looking at other topics, because basically we have looked at all that we need to know under digital or electronic libraries. And if you have any question, for instance, on this, you can raise your questions based on all the previous topics that we have had. Whatever questions you have, please, you can raise such questions based on the previous topics that we've had. Do you have questions? Any question, please? I'm still waiting. No questions? Can we move on to other topics? Okay. So on that note, let us look at the computer-based literature search. Computer-based literature search. Now, what is a search strategy? What is a search strategy? A search strategy is a structured organization of terms used to search a database. A structured organization of terms that you can use to search a database. Before you can actually carry out a literature search, you must structure your search so that you can have relevant materials. Your strategy will clearly show how you combine these terms in order to retrieve best results. In order to construct a search strategy, you have to follow the following steps. There are steps you must follow. Now, for the first step is to define your topic. Now, whatever thing you want to search, the first thing you must do is to define your topic. When your topic is defined, then you can properly look at your topic and choose the keywords in that topic. You now choose the keywords in the topic. Apart from that, the very keywords in your topic, there may be alternative terminologies. We are going to be looking at some examples. There may be alternative terminologies. Then you also have to combine these keywords. You have to combine your keywords. Now let's look at it step by step again. Number one, I said defining your topic. This step, you have to clearly state your topic. Now, we are using example here. What are the impacts of, let's say that this is your topic. What are the impacts of policies to tackle water pollution in United Kingdom? What are the impacts of policies to tackle water pollution in United Kingdom? This is an example of a structured topic. Now you have defined your topic. You want resources on this topic. Now the next step is to choose your keywords. Now looking at the defined topic, for instance, you have to carefully select the keywords in this particular topic. Now, what are the keywords? Number one keyword there is policies. Another keyword there is pollution. Another keyword is United Kingdom. So you have carefully chosen your keywords. But these your keywords can have alternative terminologies. And you must be careful to know what alternative or synonyms for these other words that you have chosen. Now, for instance, the alternative keywords for policies are legislation, law. So when you are searching, don't just type in policies. You can also type in place of policies, you can replace policies with legislation. You can replace policies with law. This will ensure that you don't leave out some vital documents and your search will be comprehensive. The alternative keywords for water pollution, for instance, could be water contamination, water impurity. And the alternative keywords for United Kingdom could be UK, Great Britain. So what are we saying? The point we are making here is that you should ensure that you do not leave out some alternative keywords, vital keywords that will enable you to retrieve more relevant materials on your chosen topic. These alternative keywords, also known as synonyms, will help you to search to become as broad as possible. And this will help to capture more relevant articles as much as possible. Now, when you have identified your alternative keywords, the next step is combination of these keywords. You have to know how to combine these keywords so that your search could be more relevant, either more relevant or more comprehensive. Now, in step 4, you are to combine the keywords. In order to achieve this, you can use some search techniques. You can use the Boolean operators, for instance, and, or you can also apply the truncation or the wide cards. Now, combining each terms using or, for instance, UK or United Kingdom or Great Britain. You can also combine concepts using and. You can use, for instance, water pollution or water contamination or water impurity. And policies or law or legislation, and UK or United Kingdom or Great Britain. You can also use the question mark when searching for alternative spellings. You can use the question mark when searching for alternative spellings. For instance, you have the UK spelling, color, and then you have the US spelling without U. Then if you want to capture both spellings, you can just use the question mark to capture both spellings. So then the hash sign, you can also use the hash sign to replace definite, to replace variable characters that are definite. You can use the hash sign to replace variable characters in a word that are definite. For instance, you have organization. In that spelling, you can use S or Z. You can spell it as ORGANIZATHON, or you can spell it the other way. Instead of the Z, you put S. And if you want to capture both spellings, instead of putting either S or Z, you can just use the hash sign. Replace S or Z with the hash sign. And then you will get all available resources. The application of search strategies in your searches can help you to eliminate junks from your retrieved resources. All materials you retrieve from the internet will not only be comprehensive, but will be highly relevant to your given topic. Thank you for listening. Do we have questions? Do we have questions on this topic? Do we have questions? Okay, so we'll be meeting same time next Tuesday. I hope to meet more people. Thank you for participating.